YouTube, how the duck you doing? Duck Films here. What I got for you today is bringing you huge and exciting news for Delta Force Hawk Ops. If you're new here and haven't already, do me a huge favor, hit that like and subscribe button, as it greatly helps me out. So I'm going to be giving you a whole bunch of awesome and amazing gameplay once Delta Force comes out. But anyways, I hope you sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So if you're new here and you don't really know what Delta Force Hawk Ops is, let me quickly explain. Delta Force Hawk Ops is the successor to Delta Force Black Hawk Down, made all the way back in 2003. Now, the same publishers, Nova Logic, are coming out with their new game called Delta Force Hawk Ops. Basically how a lot of people described it, it's essentially what Battlefield 2042 should have been. There's going to be 3 different game modes in this game. The first game mode, called Black Hawk Down, is going to be your single player story missions. Not too much information is known on that, as it's not going to be released with the alpha. Havoc Warfare is going to be your 32 versus 32 multiplayer match. Think of it as your breakthrough in Battlefield. Then lastly is going to be Hazard Operations, which is kind of going to be like your DMZ from Call of Duty, with the essence of Escape from Tarkov mixed together into one. It's going to be a hardcore extraction looter shooter with PvP, PvE elements. Now that you understand what Delta Force Hawk Ops actually is, let's go into the huge news regarding what's going on with it. The first thing that a lot of you should know, but maybe you don't know already, is that originally the playtest alpha was supposed to be in July 18th to be exact. Although saddening, it has been rescheduled for August 6th for both NA and EU regions. Now luckily this date is coming up fast. After reading the news of it being delayed, and for the reason why it was delayed, I figured that we were going to be sitting here without information for quite a while. Now the reason why they delayed the alpha test is that, in quotes, we encountered several issues that needed to be addressed to ensure you have the best experience possible. These issues included long queuing times for multiplayer modes and localization issues. Our commitment to quality means we need more time to polish the game thoroughly before presenting it to tens of thousands of you in the PC alpha test. Now I understand that there's a lot of people that are impatient and really want to get their hands on the game regardless of the test, but in the world of gaming and other things in general, first impressions means a lot. Let's say for instance you're stuck in a multiplayer queue for over 20 minutes. Then your first impression of the game is not going to be that good. So you're going to be less willing to actually either play or buy things for the game. I would hopefully assume that most of you would enjoy a better polished game, even though it may take longer than anticipated, but that's just me. Now after this quote-unquote delay, some of the lead developers, one of them being Shadow, did a Q&A session and put it all into a video format for everyone to watch and enjoy. Now one of the biggest questions that was asked in the Q&A, where a lot of people have already talked about, would there be a game mode where there's only just a soldier and no extra special abilities? If you didn't know already, each class in Delta Force Hawk Ops gets a special ability, so what we're pretty much asking for is essentially if we will have a boots on the ground only type of game mode. Now unfortunately the reply to this question was that they don't plan on having any type of game mode without abilities, but he did also mention that he doesn't want to turn this game into a hero shooter. He still emphasizes that gunplay and vehicle combat is still a major factor, and the abilities that each class have simply aid it. I mean honestly, myself included, I feel that a lot of people are pretty much tired of hero shooters. There's all these hero shooter games now on the market that is pretty lackluster, but regardless of the abilities and everything else, I still highly encourage you to try the game as it's going to be free, and I'm also going to be hosting giveaways both here on YouTube, my Twitter, and my Twitch, so make sure to check it out. Now continuing, another question that Shadow was asked is that do they have planned a full release date? And currently the full release date is up in the air, but they said once they get enough information and feedback from all the tests, they'll get it out as soon as possible. As well, they're hoping to get the game out sometime in 2024, so after the alpha test ends, maybe you'll get it the next day, or maybe you'll get it the next month. Regardless, you'll still get it and you can still enjoy the game. Now another question that was thrown out was to talk about in-game DLC, or just the generic term skins. What is their viewpoint on skins? What do they have planned? Do they have anything planned already? And what can we expect? Now Shadow, in his own words, talked about skins and how it's going to play throughout the game. The one major factor for skins in Delta Force Hawk Ops compared to say Call of Duty, Battlefield, and other games is that the skins of Delta Force Hawk Ops is going to stay on theme with realistic military details and things like that. You're not going to be running around as an anime chick or anything of this sort. They want to stay on brand and on topic of their game they're presenting. It's kind of come to a point that extra skins, say for instance anime skins and whatever else, is really just taking over FPS games in general. Delta Force is trying to stay away from that and trying to stay on topic of what their game entails, so expect more from this later. So another major topic that probably a lot of creators already touched on is another big question that was asked. Because this game is free to play and it's going to be cross-play, how in the world is the anti-cheat for Delta Force Hawk Ops actually going to work? Honestly, I feel like in all games, the topic of cheating and anti-cheat should always be your top priority with server stability and things like that. Now, I'm no expert in cybersecurity or anti-cheat or anything, but all I can say is hopefully they don't use easy anti-cheat, because we all know how well that works. Now, Shadow said that the team at Delta Force highest priority is in fact anti-cheat and the cheating scene. He also is part of the anti-cheat team as well. Now again, like most games, anti-cheats are not always perfect, so they're always going to be developing and trying to improve it, so on. They haven't really touched too much on exactly what the anti-cheat is going to be, but hopefully for the first round of this alpha playtest, it's hopefully going to be enough. Now moving on to the topic of what type of content can we see or expect in Delta Force Hawk Ops. So like the trend of most games, there's going to be seasons for Delta Force Hawk Ops. And again, like most games, Delta Force Hawk Ops seasons are going to be about 2 to 3 months. It just seems like a whole bunch of these games have a trend of doing 2 to 3 months. With each season, he said that you'll be expecting to get new maps, new operators, new guns, and new vehicles for a whole bunch of different modes that they plan on adding and already have in the game. Now as each season is 2 to 3 months, they have already worked up to season 4 of the game, which means they already have over a year of content planned, so this is definitely a game to try out, as honestly they're touching markets everywhere. They're touching the single player experience with the original Delta Force Black Hawk Down game mode, they're touching your Battlefield player base, which is going to be your Havoc Warfare, and again, they're touching that extraction game mode type with Havoc Operations. Now, another topic amongst the game is there going to be microtransactions, and I've already said yes, there's going to be skins, but there's also going to be a battle pass system like most games. It's a free-to-play game, they have to make money somehow. There's going to be both a paid and free version of the battle pass. Now, to touch that nostalgia factor, they're also going to be remastering a whole bunch of Delta Force games and content from previous games throughout the years, and they're going to try to slowly incorporate it into Delta Force Hawk Ops, making this game basically the dream game of Delta Force. Now another question or topic that was talked about was talking about the 24-hour dynamic weather system. Now from what I understand, this is pretty similar to what Battlefield had. While you're in game, the weather is going to change, making it more dynamic. But will this system be on par, or it might be even better than what Battlefield had? Now honestly, for me, who loved Battlefield, particularly Battlefield Bad Company 3 and 4, as well as BattleBit Remastered, this seems like a best of both worlds, and hopefully what they say is what we're actually going to get. Now again, I just want to say I'm going to be making a whole bunch of content on Delta Force Hawk Ops. You name it and I'll try to have that content. And again, I do want to say that I currently have giveaways for Delta Force Hawk Ops codes going on. So if you're still here and you're still watching the video, make sure to head over to my Twitter, which will be in the description, where you have a chance of winning a code so that you're able to experience Delta Force Hawk Ops on August 6th. But again, I can't thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.